According to the National Electrical Code, placing lighting contactors at the bottom of a 42-circuit panel board is not permitted. NEC 110.3b addresses the installation and use of listed or labeled equipment. This section of the code mandates that equipment must be installed and used according to any instructions included in a listing or labeling. This means that any specific instructions provided by the manufacturer regarding the proper installation and operating conditions of the contactors must be strictly followed. If the manufacturer's instructions specify a particular mounting configuration, ventilation requirement, or clearance from other components, those instructions take precedence. NEC 110.3b says equipment shall be installed and used in accordance with any instructions included in the listing or labeling. The concern here is the potential for the contactors to generate heat and their proximity to easily ignitable materials. Contactors, being electromechanical devices, inherently produce heat during operation due to the current flowing through their coils and contacts. The amount of heat generated depends on factors such as the contactor size, the current it is switching, and the duty cycle. Placing these contactors at the bottom of a panel board can create a situation where the heat they produce is trapped and accumulates. The NEC specifically addresses the issue of equipment being located near easily ignitable materials, or were exposed to excessive heat, or were exposed to deteriorating agents. The bottom of a panel board, especially if it contains insulation or other combustible materials, can be considered a location where easily ignitable materials are present. The accumulation of heat from the contactors can raise the temperature within the panel board, potentially increasing the risk of a fire. The contactors themselves are considered equipment, and their placement must comply with the code's requirements for safe installation and operation. The accumulation of heat within the panel board can also accelerate the deterioration of wiring, insulation, and other components. Excessive heat can cause insulation to become brittle and crack, leading to potential short circuits and ground faults. This can compromise the safety and reliability of the entire electrical system. The NEC emphasis on following manufacturer's instructions is crucial in this context. The manufacturer of the contactors is best positioned to provide guidance on proper installation and operating conditions. Their instructions may include specific requirements for ventilation, mounting, orientation, and clearance from other components. Ignoring these instructions can void the product's warranty and increase the risk of equipment failure and safety hazards. It is important to note that panel boards are typically designed to accommodate specific types and sizes of circuit breakers and other components. The addition of 3/4-pole lighting contactors can overcrowd the panel board, making it difficult to access and maintain the wiring and other components. This can also impede the proper ventilation of the panel board, further exacerbating the heat buildup issue. The NEC provides guidelines for the proper arrangement and spacing of components within panel boards to ensure adequate ventilation and ease of access. Modifying the panel board by adding equipment that is not specifically designed for it can violate these guidelines and create safety hazards. In addition to NEC 110.3b, other sections of the NEC may also be relevant to this situation. For example, NEC 312 addresses the requirements for cabinets, cutouts, and meter socket enclosures. This section specifies the minimum working space around electrical equipment to allow for safe installation, maintenance, and operation. The addition of the contactors may reduce the available working space within the panel board, making it difficult to perform maintenance tasks safely. NEC 408 covers the requirements for switchboards, switchgear, and panel boards. This section specifies the requirements for the physical construction, wiring, and overcurrent protection of panel boards. The addition of the contactors may alter the panel board's original design and compromise its compliance with these requirements. In general, any modifications to a panel board should be performed by qualified electrical personnel who are familiar with the NEC and the specific requirements for panel board installations. These personnel can assess the impact of the modifications on the panel board's safety and performance and ensure that all applicable codes and standards are met. It is always advisable to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to ensure that any electrical installation complies with all applicable codes and standards. These professionals can provide guidance on proper installation techniques and help identify potential safety hazards. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation and maintenance of electrical systems. Compliance with the NEC is essential to protect people and property from electrical hazards. When installing or modifying electrical equipment, it is important to carefully review the NEC and follow all applicable requirements. Failure to comply with the NEC can result in fines, penalties, and even legal liability. In the specific case of installing lighting contactors in a panel board, it is crucial to consider the potential for heat generation and the proximity to easily ignitable materials. The NEC prohibits the installation of equipment in locations where these conditions exist. It is also important to follow the manufacturer's instructions for the installation and operation of the contactors. These instructions may include specific requirements for ventilation, mounting orientation, and clearance from other components. If there is any doubt about the proper installation of the contactors, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrical professional. These professionals can assess the situation and provide guidance on how to comply with the NEC and ensure the safety of the electrical system. The NEC is not a static document. It is updated every 3 years to reflect changes in technology and industry best practices. It is important to stay up to date on the latest edition of the NEC to ensure that electrical installations comply with the most current requirement. Many resources are available to help electrical professionals and homeowners stay informed about the NEC. These resources include training courses, seminars, and online publications. The National Fire Protection Association, which publishes the NEC, also offers a variety of resources to help people understand and comply with the code. In addition to the NEC, other codes and standards may also be relevant to the installation of electrical equipment. These codes and standards may address issues such as energy efficiency, accessibility, and environmental protection. It is important to be aware of all applicable codes and standards when installing or modifying electrical equipment. The goal of the NEC is to provide a safe and reliable electrical system for all users. By following the NEC and consulting with qualified electrical professionals, we can help ensure that our electrical systems are safe and compliant. Remember that electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take precautions to protect yourself and others from electrical hazards. Always turn off the power before working on electrical equipment, and never attempt to repair or modify electrical equipment unless you are qualified to do so. If you are not sure about something, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrical professional. In the context of the initial question, it's important to understand that panel boards are designed for specific purposes, mainly housing circuit breakers to protect individual circuits. Adding components like contactors, especially without proper consideration for heat dissipation and available space, can compromise the panel's overall safety and functionality. Contactors are typically used for switching larger loads, and their placement often requires dedicated enclosures that provide adequate ventilation and separation from other components. The NEC emphasizes the importance of using equipment in accordance with its listing and labeling, which includes following the manufacturer's instructions. If the contactors are not specifically listed for use within a panel board, or if their installation violates the panel board manufacturer's instructions, then the installation would be considered a violation of the NEC. Furthermore, the NEC addresses the issue of workspace around electrical equipment. Installing contactors in a way that obstructs access to circuit breakers or other components within the panel board would violate the code's requirements for adequate working space. This can make it difficult and dangerous to perform maintenance or troubleshooting tasks. In addition to the physical space constraints, the electrical capacity of the panel board must also be considered. The addition of contactors and their associated wiring can increase the overall load on the panel board, potentially exceeding its rated capacity. This can lead to overheating, voltage drops, and other electrical problems. It is essential to perform a load calculation to ensure that the panel board can safely handle the additional load. The NEC provides detailed guidelines for performing load calculations to determine the appropriate size and capacity of electrical equipment. When modifying an existing electrical system, it is crucial to consider the impact on the system's overall safety and reliability. Adding components like contactors without proper planning and consideration can create hazards and compromise the system's performance. It is always best to consult with a qualified electrical engineer or contractor to ensure that any modifications are made safely and in accordance with the NEC. These professionals can assess the existing system, determine the appropriate modifications, and ensure that all applicable codes and standards are met. In summary, installing 3 4-pole lighting contactors in the bottom of a 42-circuit panel board is likely a violation of the NEC due to concerns about heat generation, proximity to ignitable materials, obstruction of working space, and potential overloading of the panel board. It is essential to consult with a qualified electrical professional to determine the proper and safe way to install these contactors. Remember that electrical safety is paramount, and it is always best to err on the side of caution when working with electricity.